Welcome to episode 7.
Wow.
Episode 7. Let's do a little debrief of
lucky number 7.
Sorry.
I interrupted you. I threw you off. I broke her. Wait, you want to do a debrief?
A debrief of where the hell we are. The opposite
Like
of a session 0.
A talk back. Yeah.
Well, a
debrief.
A debrief. I just want to hear your thoughts on what it's like to be back in Vaesen world, and what it was like to do your first adventure, and how do you like the NPCs so far? How do you like me as a woman and as a friend? Please be kind.
I am so happy to be back in Vaesen world, as you say, aka Sweden.
The Sweden,
the homeland, the motherland. No, I love Vaesen as a game because a lot of it is the point of the combats are not necessarily to fight. It's like an investigation story, very much in similar veins of Cthulhu, Delta Green, which are some of my favorite modules out there. So it's really nice to, I don't know, I play Pathfinder a lot on Glass Cannon and stuff. Probably the module I play the most.
Yeah.
And coming from that and getting to be I'm using empathy. I'm investigating. It's great.
It feels, for me as well, having played some Pathfinder and D&D and these other sort of D20 systems that are meant to be very mechanical and where you have characters and you fill out special skills,
a lot of conditions and a lot of mechanics,
little extra, they're supposed to be it's funny because they're supposed to be so customizable, and so the only limit is this guy, whatever. The thing is, in their complication, they almost get more
specific,
and whereas with these free loosey-goosey adventures, they get limited in that I feel like sometimes, especially with Vaesen and especially the adventures that's coming up, no matter what you do, certain things will happen just because I want you to experience them. Whereas with D&D, I sometimes feel or Pathfinder or Starfinder, things could be it's the goal is to prevent certain things from happening. And you managed to be a hero, so it didn't happen.
The point of Vaesen is not to be a hero,
no,
necessarily.
And but I also wonder, some players, I can see how that can be rough for players if they feel but dude, I rolled really well, I was very smart about my clues, and still all these people died, and for example,
it is frustrating sometimes.
I can see how that would frustrate me, but I also feel on the other end of that, if you want to do something cool and creative with D&D or Pathfinder, sometimes it's no, the setting is
hold my mic here.
So the setting is very, I'm so sorry,
this is for Patreon.
The setting is very I don't know. It's hard for me to sometimes feel like I'm not breaking the game by being a little bit crazy. I wanted to play a midwife one time, and I'm listen, I don't want to be a hero. I just want to be the person who's taking care of the party, bringing cinnamon buns, playing it like Vaesen, an NPC in Vaesen. And I remember it worked as a fun little side thing, but once there was a combat, I'm all right, I'm now a brutal barbarian who's gonna...
I deliver the babies.
Yeah, exactly. And I throw the babies at the enemy.
Yes, I use the babies. No, it is such a different system, and it's not for everybody, and I understand that. But it's also fun for me, coming back to Vaesen with you as a GM, because you really let me explore. And I know sometimes after a session, you're I didn't think you were going to do that.
That's great.
Totally off what I thought was happening. Yeah. And to me, I'm it feels so natural. I never feel we're off topic or the train's gone off the tracks.
Yeah.
Because you're so good you're so good at bringing in an NPC, guiding me, to find something eventually in my own way. And I just really enjoy playing with you. So I'm happy to be back.
I think that's also another thing. I think we talked about it at length last week, but you know, playing D&D with you was a lot more fun than a lot of other D&D sessions I've ever had, and I think it's because of you.
Well, it's also, you know, you and I both do comedy and improv, and it's very much like before I go on for like a musical improv show, and it's a common thing to, you know, I got your back. You tap everybody's back and you tell them I got your back. And I feel like you even said, I don't know, like you always have my back or something.
Yeah.
And I very much feel that way. I'm like, no matter what I do, Ellie is going to support me in character with the story. If I have like a goal, you know, she's going to try to allow me to achieve it while keeping me on track. So it's very fun for me to play with you. And I'm excited for the rest of the story.
Oh, yeah.
Especially now knowing, I have to sneeze.
While you do that, I'm gonna sing a little song.
I'm excited for the rest of the story because in our debrief, I want to say I love that this first adventure or whatever, is part of a much bigger thing that is not necessarily this season. You know, like it's part of this bigger world, and this is almost like the dusting of like information. You know, I get Gyllencreutz and there's these people and stuff is happening around me, but I'm new to the area, and that's all I know.
And it works so well that you're new to the area, because it's like it gives the common questions that a foreigner would ask, like where is this thing, where is that thing, and you can sort of similar to what I wanted with Lost Mountain, is that I wanted, like, this is going to be a fun experience for Americans to play or like any non-Swedes.
Sure, because we don't know the area.
Yeah, like to get like a nice, fun introduction to what's the best parts of Sweden in a horrifying setting, and then try to like make that into like a little journey. Like instead of traveling there, you can explore it this way. And
like you said, I think it's good for the audience. Like they're learning as our characters are learning, and Sydney, because I don't know a lot of stuff about Sweden. But speaking of, also, I brought my book today, which I love. And look what was inside. If it isn't old Henrik O'Doherty, my original character sheet, all written and stained and like rewritten.
Amazing.
And then I started doodling for the second season.
Oh yeah.
My hunter.
That got killed.
Or what was her? Nellie Miller.
Nellie Miller, who immediately died in.
She died so fast.
TPK.
That was so funny.
That was so fucking first time I've ever been part of a TPK.
I was so excited to play her.
Oh, yeah, you even had a really great accent.
Oh my god. And I have so many,
I'm sure that
notes, useless little note. What the hell was I writing about? I spelled Gyllencreutz crazy. How does it spelled?
Gylle.
Wow.
Okay.
YEULINGKRUSS.
Love it.
Really tried my best. Whoa. Wait a second.
What's up?
Algut Frisk.
Yeah.
Was in the first season.
I was wondering when you were gonna figure that one out.
Wait. It's the same?
No, it's not the same. I mean, it's not like portrayed the same way, but the butler of Gyllencreutz
is the same.
Is called Algut Frisk.
But is it the same character?
No, that guy. I don't know if you remember that guy. I portrayed him as like a gay, very strict, angry man.
I said Algut Frisk partner.
Yeah, partner to Franzibold. He was Franzibold's partner.
Franzibold's partner.
And he was he was like so sick and tired of you.
I remember, I remember him. Yeah. But so this is not Algut Frisk in our story.
No,
but the butler is always the same.
I wanted to have that as my little Easter egg, but I did see like the nothingness in your eyes as I said the name, so I was like, all right, she doesn't remember.
Well, there's also so many like Swedish names that I don't remember.
There was a lot of Alberts and Algets and Olafs and Olas.
Glad I read my little notes, because now all the listeners who were like, you dumb fuck, she said the name.
I kind of like, a part of me wanted like, spoiler alert, because it's not gonna happen and I'm gonna crush people's, if they I kind of want people to have like theories, but it would be so much fun. Then we know we've hit it if people have like fan theories of like what's actually going on. Because a part of me wanted to have it framed as like the adventures of Eliza was it Eliza Andrews? The Adventures of Eliza Andrews, written by Fransibald Hansen. You know, like have something like that.
Oh,
would
I
be
love that. Well, you did do that whole thing of the books.
Yeah.
Of finding the books in the house and the you know, going back in time, which was really fun.
And I think that was like, so it's been done. I also feel like Fransibald, like it would cheapen.
He died.
Exactly. It would cheapen his legacy. But a part of me was like, oh, that would be such a cool thing. But he would have been, it would have been the 1820s or 1840s. If that,
yeah.
But,
Eliza
but a part of me, like an alternative universe, maybe Fransibald still exists.
Sure. I mean, and there's an Algot Frisk.
There's an Algot Frisk.
Why not a Fransibald?
A Fransibald Frisk.
A Fransibald. I'm glad that I looked in my notes.
Yeah. No,
Stupid.
But no. I first of all, I never do. I'm severely underprepared almost always for everything, except for this one. I did carve out some time.
Anything else that's important?
Let's see. No. Abigail Johnson, all played by Kaya.
Oh yeah.
She was the American.
Oh yeah.
Well, having said all of that, we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited for this new arc that's gonna start. But before we start that, let's play the tune. All right.
All right. Hi.
Great. What a wonderful segue.
Do you still love me? Do you still love me?
I'm obsessed with you.
I love you.
Fuck!
Oh, no.
That's the doorbell. 1 second.
Get it. Let's take guesses who we think's at Ellie's door. I think it's somebody for her neighbor. Oh! Did you just get ding-dong ditched?
It was a ghost of Christmas past.
Oh, it was a Vaesen.
Yeah, it might have been just a delivery and he skedaddled. Might be the camera stuff that we need actually for later. Ooh. Don't want that to get stolen. Actually, I'll go and get it.
I'll vamp. Bye, Ellie. Bye. Look at her running in the background. She's so small. Now that Ellie's not... I don't think the mic picked that up, but Ellie just went downstairs because it's so fucking cold today. It is so frigid out. I feel like I'm in Uppsala, Sweden. The walk from a nearby coffee shop where I got us coffees this morning to Ellie's apartment, my hands were so frozen.
It is the camera.
It is? Oh, wow. It's like Christmas. Ellie got a cool thing, which I guess we will use for the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. That's perfect. Do you want that in the background the whole time?
No, you're right. Oh, God.
Also, is this chair been in the background the whole time? What the... Yeah, there we go.
Put it in center.
There we go.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the non-bullshit portion of our episode.
I know, we're just bullshitting away.
I know.
All right, start the episode. Start the
episode. Okay. I'm out of breath.
Oh no, you were running a lot.
Yeah, but it's also like -8.
I was just saying, while you were gone, I was vamping, and I was like, it was so cold today. My hands were so freezing outside. Carrying the little coffees over, I was like, it shouldn't be like this.
Oh yeah, Sydney bought me a cappuccino.
I'm gonna eat some of your Danish.
Oh, go ahead. I made ratatouille for lunch. Anyway, we're not gonna ruin this episode.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. So Algot has been busy. Algot Frisk, your butler. He's been very busy. So a couple of weeks goes by since you met Olaf. I told you after we recorded the last episode that he would have brought you to church.
Oh,
he
yeah.
he invites you to church a lot.
I could tell he was trying to slip the invite to church. He was talking about church a lot on our date.
It's like, have you heard about Jesus? Like a Mormon? Yeah, I want him to wear like a t-shirt shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With like a pens in his pocket.
But sometimes maybe you join him just because like he's trying to become your friend. It does seem like, you know, you're sensing it might mean a little bit more to him than maybe to you, because you are married, and as far as you know, you're not looking for new dicks. And also it's the
Nice.
early 19th century, so you're definitely not looking for more dicks, because that would be inappropriate. But he's never inappropriate. He's a perfect gentleman.
He's respectful. Okay.
But he still, you know, talks a lot about how he's worried about Satan and how he thinks the world should be cleansed. Like things like that makes you like, maybe I'm not fully on board. If he only knew what I've been, you know. You're an actor in England, so I'm sure that you've done some immoral stuff. Sinned, exactly. And he does not necessarily share more details than necessary, but he used to be married. You don't know where the wife is, if she's even alive, but you know that he's not married anymore. Okay. Algot, on the other hand, he's been busy. You left him basically in Gyllencreutz for a couple of weeks, and suddenly the castle is full of life. Ooh. If you walk by, like you know, like how you walk by a set. If you're the like production designer, you walk by and then you come back and it's just like, oh my god,
Dressed.
It's built. Yeah. The dust is gone. The old smell is gone. Servants, so many servants, busy cleaning.
Oh my.
Maintaining the parts that are open, because for the game mechanical aspect,
some doors are locked.
Some doors are locked, and the servants won't go near them. They are a little unsettled by them. The kitchen smells of fresh, wonderful food and coffee. And it's not as haunting and terrifying anymore. You actually feel quite comfortable moving in there if you want.
I mean, I think she does. She owns it. And, you know, she's not going to spend money and not stay in a place that she already owns. Yeah. Especially...
I have this idea that you'd live in a hotel close to that cafeteria.
But she won't.
But, like, that cafeteria ladies, like, the rude cafeteria ladies, like, you look like garbage. Like, you have a banter with her every morning.
Yeah, every morning. She's always like, back again. I'm like, I literally come here every day.
Yeah, it's like, I live here.
I live here. I live upstairs. But, yeah, so she's definitely going to stay at Castle Gyllencreutz now, that it's kind of open. It's done up. Yeah. And she really gives accolades to Algot Frisk for doing all of this. It seems like he was able to do it without her help. He's super independent. She hired him because he seemed desperate and very sad. But now, you know, she realizes he's very good at his job. You know, he's got servants. Everybody is working. So, yeah, I think...
He's very mindful of your privacy as well. Like, you're almost... I mean, I'm sure you grew up in somewhat... maybe middle class to upper middle class house.
We had some maids and stuff.
Yeah. So you're used to dealing with servants, so to speak. Yeah. But he's even beyond that of, like, very, like... certain servants are not even allowed to, like, look at you. Like, you know, he's running a very tight ship.
Cool.
Of, like... and most of the time you're only talking to him.
Eliza loves that.
Yeah.
She says to him, Algot, you've really, really done a tip-top job.
Well, he nods his head. Thank you.
You're talented. I wanted to ask you, the servants are wonderful. I was wondering, though, when should we put that ad in the paper?
Of course.
For like-minded folks, we said, remember?
Of course.
I'd like to rent some of the rooms as soon as possible.
Of course.
Offset the costs and whatnot.
Yes, I think that sounds like a great idea. Let me look into it. I can post an ad in tomorrow's newspaper.
Whenever you have time, I trust your judgment on making the advertisement vague enough. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. I know.
Discretion.
Discretion always. As always.
Don't want to
My lady.
Don't want to attract the wrong people.
No, of course. I think our operation, if anything, should be without conflict, unnecessary conflict.
Exactly. My words exactly. Excellent.
And would there be any other services you require? Should we look at our budget? And he brings out a very well prepared Excel sheet.
Yes, and Sydney will bring out her headquarters sheet.
Oh, interesting. How very convenient. So the two of you sit down and look over
Here we call money resources.
Yeah.
And how many do we have?
How would you like to allocate your
Okay.
resources? You got 7 resources from last, but you also have a couple of more because you're one player.
Yeah,
and you
left
found
over.
a whole chest with treasure. So honestly, this I'm not gonna follow the book. I'm just gonna let you.
Okay, I do wanna go in the book for okay.
I mean, you can
So-
follow the book for upgrades. What I'm saying is that I'm gonna basically give you whatever you want because it's fun to build. This is basically you writing Motherlode in Sims.
Motherlode, Rosebud, Rosebud.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things, I think I mentioned this on the last episode, you can get a tavern, which is like within the distance of Gyllencreutz, because I thought we didn't dive too much into the rules of headquarters for other things. We were kind of just like, you can do stuff.
Yeah.
But what Ellie is describing is like basically there's rooms in the headquarters that you have access to. You can hire like personnel to give you boons.
Yeah, and Algot Frisk is one hired.
Is a butler that you can hire, and the butler he's available from the start. He manages the headquarters, but for instance, if you hire like a caretaker, you need the workshop to hire them.
Yeah.
And it costs a certain amount, and then it says that they repair the facilities if anything is broken, aka like there are things called threats.
Yeah.
That can like damage the castle. You can get damaged.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool shit.
And something I think Sydney does not know is that every time she does an upgrade, a larger upgrade, I'll say, I'm rolling on my end to see if there's a threat.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? So, for instance, the local tavern.
Yes.
It can be purchased up to 3 times. You can own 3 taverns.
Which I love. It's like an empire.
And the function of it, once you own one, is 1 player per level can gain +2 to their physical recovery roll.
Yeah.
If I get hurt.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the thing, like, the headquarters is basically a base between sessions to heal conditions and like, or even in the preparation phase of like,
some of it is for
like there's like this occult library,
Yeah.
the seance room. You have access to the seance room that you can do stuff. There's a couple of
the
things.
shooting range,
Yeah.
where in prep you literally get a ranged weapon.
Yeah.
You just like get one because you have the shooting range.
However, then you see that there's something called discovered facilities.
Yeah.
Those are only available if you happen upon them. So you can't buy them because you don't know that they exist, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But like, for example, like you know that there's a bunch of hidden rooms
Yeah.
that like maybe the door is there one day and the door isn't there the other day, you know.
Isn't that interesting?
The dungeon, I think, was that in the first.
Yes. And to even get the dungeon, you need a cellar vault. Like you have to access that first. It's cool. It's like really, really cool.
But you have a lot of points to spend, so if you tell me like a couple of things that you might want, it doesn't have to be mechanically like super cool, like, or like it doesn't have to be like mechanically make sense.
Yeah.
Like if you can, and another thing, it doesn't have to be facilities. It can also be personnel and even crew, like crew members, like for your adventures. Like you can get another, like you were saying, I would like to put out an ad in the newspaper.
There's literally recruits.
Yeah.
A person with sight is recruited into the society.
A stable boy.
Yes, there's also like if you get a stable, you get like a ragged horse to use on an adventure, which is helpful if you need to travel. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of getting the tavern. Yeah. Because in game, I was like, she would do this. And I get that +2 to recovery rolls, which is cool if I need to use that eventually. I think getting a recruit makes sense. Yeah. There's a new person that comes into the society. I do like the mystic, but you need the occult library.
So maybe you find the occult library or something then.
Do I?
Can I? Can you afford not to?
Let me look at the occult library. Let me see where that is.
You can also get like a chef like, you know, all
Yes,
these things
you
that, you
can-
know, like there's like a lot of fun things. There's a cellar wall.
The chef provides every player character with simple provisions during the preparation phase without rolling for resources.
Yeah.
The gardener can give you like poisons to use
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're gardening. I love it. I do kind of like here's my idea. Maybe I discover the occult library in some way,
Yeah.
and the recruit that comes in is a mystic. That way I'm not using like 7 things
Yeah.
to like get what I want.
Yeah.
But like I discover the library, I can pay the cost.
Yeah.
The recruit is the cost, and then the boon of the recruit says that they can come along on mysteries, and mayhaps their sight
Yeah.
is this mystic thing where the boon, the function of the mystic is can gain a clue about a power item or a magic item or something that has to do with Vaesen.
Yeah. Great.
I think it would be cool to have either a Sims, you know, swappable
Yeah.
character, or they just come along on the adventure.
Or someone you ask before you go on an adventure of like, listen, what do you think about this thing? Like, it could be like the old lady sitting in the, you know, she's like,
Let me look at my crystal
oh,
ball.
you are back. What questions do you have? The oracle.
Yeah,
And,
I kind of like if, maybe like they were recruit, but they basically come in and they're just like, oh, you have this library?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's my shit.
You find a library and a lady sitting in there, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Oh.
sorry, I didn't realize you had a new home.
Sorry. And she's like, I'd like to live in here. And you're
Yeah.
like, there are bedrooms. She's like, nope.
I'll stay." You're like, "But it's gonna smell so poorly."
We're going to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
We're going to use the bathroom. I also would like to, I don't know if you want me to like recruit Olaf, but I think Eliza would offer the castle as a place for him to stay.
Yeah.
You know, that
He-
especially,
he would probably join you.
well, especially after she discovers this library.
Yeah.
I think she would be like, you got to take a look at this.
Yeah. So let's see. Olaf will continue to be played by me.
Yeah.
Mystic, however, might be played by both of us or you, depending on how insane and
I don't know what I want the mystic
schizophrenic
to be.
it's gonna get. Yeah, like we're gonna be like.
I don't know what I want the mystic to be. We can figure it out.
But whatever's gonna be easiest for us. But at least you know that there's gonna at least be resources for you to use. But Olaf definitely, if you ask him to move in, he's gonna consider it. But then eventually, all right, fine, I'll take one of the bedrooms. He'll pay rent, offset some of that cost. The mystic, well, let's just see what happens then.
When I discover the library.
I'm gonna see here where I can't.
Where's
of course,
this damn library?
Exactly, I can't of course see the occult. I see an occult temple, but I don't see an occult.
And just so we're staying honest, and I know you're like, you can have it. So the occult library is 5, and to recruit someone is also a 5.
Yeah.
So she would have 10, and maybe like there's 2 left over or something. But
So okay, this is fun. Okay, so it's fun. I can't actually see the occult library in.
because it's hidden.
Exactly, it's very hidden apparently, but I'm assuming it's gonna be close. I'm assuming it's gonna be close to the occult workshop or occult temple. Would be very funny if it's not.
Or mayhaps, you know, it's like through the library. Like we've already discovered the library, and it's like a hidden annex of the main library.
Oh, okay. I have an idea.
Okay.
You're sitting in the library, which, by the way, is also an upgrade. You don't start with the library, but and the map room.
And how interesting. I'm sitting in the library reading a book called Vaesen. Huh.
You're like, what? This has so many interesting details.
This tells me about every monster.
So you're reading, you know, something, maybe a romance novel, a very spicy romance novel.
She's reading, she's pretending to read like the journals or something, and then behind it is like a thin romance novel.
And we see like how you're getting your throat's getting like redder and redder. Algot walks in and is just like, ma'am.
She puts it down her.
What?
Yeah, what? It's better be important.
Sorry, I just wondered if you
Having
wanted.
my reading time.
Of course. Are you playing with your adult toys again? No.
No, I'm not. They're action figures.
He brings you some tea. Does not say anything about anything. He is very good at keeping things private. And you don't feel judged by him, but you also know that he knows everything. So it's like, oh. But that's when you notice something behind you, there's like a cold air coming from one of the shelves.
She says, "Oh, good. The library's a bit drafty. Perhaps we should put in an order for some re-cementing of the stones." And she's like looking at the shelf now, feeling for the cold air, because she's like, it's weird it's coming from a shelf and not from like a crack in the wall.
And you're noticing that there's definitely even more of an air flow coming out from one of the books.
What's the book called?
The book is called My Pregnant Billionaire Wife.
My pregnant billionaire wife is a werewolf! Exclamation point, question mark.
Yeah. And
she goes, oh, I haven't read that one. She slowly pulls it out.
And it, Batman style, a ginormous stairwell opens up downwards.
Oh, the bookcase, yeah, classic. Like,
classic, yeah.
Spins in or whatever. It was a handle the whole time. Yeah. And she's like, oh, the book's not even real. I'll never be able to read it.
Great title, though. I shall read my own.
I'm going to keep that in mind for my own fantasies later on in bed. Yeah, she pulls the book and, like, the door moves. And she looks back at Algut. Is this supposed to happen?
He has a weird smile on his face. And he's like, well, I don't know. Perhaps you should go down and figure it out.
Oh, good. Do you have a torch?
Of course. Of course he has.
Yes.
He's just like brings out as if he's lighting a cigarette.
So he takes a taper candle.
Yeah.
Well, are you coming with me?
Well, I needed to... I suppose I will come with you, of course.
And she starts to descend.
Yeah, and he walks behind you with the torch as well. And you descend, you go down the stairs... And eventually, there's another tiny little room, and there is a window in the wall, but like a small cellar window. Mm-hmm. So it's not super, super dark and scary down there. But you can tell that there's like an opening from this little room with a bunch of books, by the way, that leads to like, it looks like you can't get through that opening because there's so much stuff. There's like things have collapsed.
Oh, interesting. Like it was a tunnel or something.
Yeah, like it's like stone, but where those stones would come from, since it's like it doesn't make any sense that it would be
like someone closed it off.
Yeah, someone closed it off. Someone did not want this to be found. There's wood planks.
Okay.
I wanted to be like, oh yeah, it's like a tunnel that has, stones in it, but I'm like, where would they come from? So right now it's just more like it doesn't look like you would be able to easily walk in. But
debris and stuff.
Yeah, okay. But there is definitely an opening, and you see that like, oh my god, I've discovered something
somewhere else.
Yeah, but in this room, yeah, well, what does it say about occult library? I'm assuming it's like you have a lot of books. Well, bring out the tome.
Bring out the tome.
The tome, not the tomb. This is not a tomb.
This is not a tomb. Occult library. Library of banned occult books. One of the library's bookcases echoes as if... so that's how I found it. It was like a weird bookcase. And then the function of it is once per mystery, a player can gain a free success on a roll for locating or understanding occult knowledge. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
The player must state what information the character recalls. So they want to know something specific. Damn, that is dope. So yeah, I think Eliza finds this and she thinks at first like wine cellar, like what could this be? And then she starts to look and she's like, oh, it's all books. And she starts to read closer. And this isn't your my billionaire husband's wife's a werewolf.
No, this is not the romance spice. This is the
symbols. It's like symbology of the 1300s Spanish, blah 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 blah. Like all this,
a lot of weird old translations
that people don't think exist.
Exactly.
These early translations that were said to be like, oh, that's made up. Like,
old Viking runes, like Viking knowledge, even like Roman god knowledge.
Yeah. There's weird, like in between the books, there's some artifacts.
Oh yeah.
Like stones or runes.
Even one of the books might emitting something very like that tingling sensation again. But if you reach for it, Algo might grab your hand and be like, "I wouldn't if I were you."
She moves her hand back.
Yeah.
She's gonna light some candles, and she sees that there's also like a not an altar, but like like a pedestal, like something where you would put the books down.
Yeah.
With like a quill and a lamp, and like you could come down here to study. There's chairs.
Yeah.
So she takes this all in, and she's like, well, we'll need someone to care for it. Perhaps if someone answers the newspaper, we could have them organize and catalog things. I know that's a little bit above your pay grade. You don't have the time for it, but perhaps we could find someone to take this on, clean it up. Not really sure about that tunnel entrance. We don't have to worry about that right now, but this seems rather important. I'd like to tell Olaf about it too.
Is that wise?
Well, perhaps.
I don't. Algot has been weirdly like not loving Olaf.
Well, Olaf is an investigator of sorts. He's a Christian man.
That's what bothers me with him.
Well, I think some of this could be useful. The
Right.
Bible translations.
Right.
I can hold off. I don't have to tell Olaf about it.
Well, honestly, I did not mean to question your authority.
No,
Of course, if you-
Algot, I appreciate your input.
But I'm just worried that it would make him more anxious than necessary.
Understood. Perhaps if there is a need for a specific book,
Right.
I could let him know. Perhaps I find the book. We don't have to tell him about the whole library.
I do think that it's a good idea to find a caretaker, though. I shall... You know what? I shall go to the post office today and have it...
Post haste.
Post haste.
Perhaps someone, and as they're like walking back up and he's, going off, she's like, perhaps someone, the philosophical background, theological, or a writer, perhaps,
Right.
a book related to the books. I don't think we can outright say occult, but, and he's like, already off, and she's like, you know best.
Yeah.
She's looking around the big library. And now she's starting to imagine this is what it's like, owning Gyllencreutz. This is what it was like for Hilma and Albert and her aunt, maybe. And then she wonders, as she's going through the day and just whatever, she's like...
She's like, a fly.
Like a fly in my head. A gnat. She's like, maybe this was too much for my aunt. The reason why she shut everything down and fired people. Like, this is a lot to manage in these secret rooms and,
But let's cut to, for example, a couple of weeks later, where no one really responded to your ad, except one woman, a tiny little frog-like woman.
Oh my god!
I mean, not like actual frog, but
she kind of looks like a frog.
If a human was a frog, then she's just like very wide smile.
I love her.
And very like cute, short, stout.
I already know what she sounds like.
What does she sound like? Because
she sounds like Bjork.
Bjork. How does Bjork sound like? Whoa.
Like these little things are happening.
All right.
For this is possibly like the most best situation. Like soft spoken.
I'm gonna have you.
Icelandic. Sort of smaller, tiny things.
What is your name? Algot asks.
Me?
Yes.
She looks around.
My name?
Yes, ma'am.
You can call me, for the time being, like the sky, perhaps ever growing, and impossible to know the true colors of. We only see blue, but there is a spectrum that is forever expanding beyond our capabilities of sight.
Algot leans over to Eliza. Perhaps we should just call her Birch.
Or Birch, whichever you think is easier.
perch.
Oh, what I said was perch. What are you saying?
She starts rummaging in her bag and she pulls out like wrapped up like hard candies,
Yep.
like Werthers, and
Oh,
she's
that
just like,
Yeah,
she puts like 3 in her mouth.
And it's so loud. I said birch as in the birch tree. I don't know why I thought about that when hearing you talk, but it just made me think of a birch tree.
That is what it is.
Algot says, I like her.
Eliza looks at Algut and like nods, feeling that like, yeah, this is what she expected. Like
Yeah.
this is what you get when you put a weird ad in the
Yeah.
newspaper. But she trusts it. It's like
Yeah.
if you go to see a psychic, she is what you would imagine
Yeah.
a like mystic
Yeah.
to be, but in the form of like an older Icelandic woman who is kind of silly. She's like your silly grandma.
Oh yeah.
Eliza nods and she goes, I think we should say yes.
Yeah. And so birch stays, or perch. What do you
Did
want?
you say perch?
I say birch.
I
as
know,
in
but then what did you think I said?
perch.
No, I said birch. I said birch because you were like, it's the form of Bjork. And I was like, obviously that's with a B. And then
Yeah.
you said perch. And I was like, that's the translation? No, birch.
Birch.
Short for Birchrude.
So, yes, perfect. Birchrude will, maybe she will hang out in the occult library for a hot sec.
She finds it on her own.
Yeah, she's just like, I will go here.
She's literally down there.
Yeah.
Eliza like stumbles upon her one time. She's like, oh, I was good to tell you that.
Look what I found.
Yeah, she's like,
This is the fascinating part.
she's like, okay, have fun.
You're like, that's the Satan book that I was not allowed to touch.
Yeah, why
Hello.
is she touching that? It's glowing.
Yeah. But so let's have you play Birch.
Birch.
Birch is sensing evil
Oh, in the occult library?
from the opening that's been caved in.
Oh,
So she might spend some time to actually try to cover that up. Like something evil has happened here.
I think she, as soon as she walks down there,
Yeah.
it's like she just stands up a little straighter, her little
Yeah.
like froggy body, her little kind of hunched back.
Yeah.
And she immediately starts moving the stones and like debris, but not away.
Yeah.
She's like moving it deliberately to like seal it off again, as if somebody had done it, but it had fallen and
Yeah.
stuff. So she seals it off, and maybe she even like tugs, a chair over.
And it would be so funny, her like motivation because of mechanical reasons. Like, we can't buy this upgrade yet, so it's just like, let's just leave it for later.
Let's just cover it with a tapestry.
There is a hamster in Peppa Pig that sounds a little bit like this, but she's like, "Oh no, dear tortoise, don't go,
Don't go over.
don't go away
Don't
from me
go
now,
over
tortoise."
there, tortoise. I'm an Australian hamster in Peppa Pig.
It's so fucking funny. Like ginormous.
This is what she
cheek.
looks like.
Yeah.
She looks
She's
like
like a
like
little
kind of
tortoise.
buggy eyes, a really wide face.
That's it.
She's kind of got grayish long hair.
Oh yeah.
And she's super short and squat. With
Yeah.
like a little bit of like a hunch. Like she always looks like she's a little bit.
And moving in slow motion, like
Oh,
all
yeah.
older women do when they're a certain age, of just like so gentle. Like, have you ever had your hair brushed by your grandma or something?
Oh yeah, she's barely even touching you with that comb.
Yeah.
You're
but
like,
it's-
you're not getting any of those knots out,
exactly,
Grandma.
They're like,
Yeah, it's mostly like them like
so gentle.
patting your head.
Yeah. Oh, I miss my grandma now.
Oh, I miss my
Rest in
grandma, too.
peace. Anyway, on that sad note, let's move ahead to, like, we'll leave Birch.
She's busy. It's gonna take her a while.
Yeah. But Eliza,
I'll
you're.
see you later in the night.
I have another book
I'll
recommendation.
see you at night time.
It brings out the most like sexually graphical
Oh my god, it's the
novel.
Karma Sutra.
Yeah.
She's like, this
Was down there
I've noticed
perhaps
you read
help-
weird things.
helpful
Yeah.
to you?
You are a single sad
This
girl? No.
is you. More to be like this. You need legs
Goodbye. I'm going to the library.
I've written my
to
own
die
thing.
now.
Oh God! You find her dead next morning.
No.
No.
We just invented her.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, this is not going to be a franzible thing. Birch
God.
cannot be touched.
Birch can't die.
Ever.
Yeah, no dying.
We know that if Gyllencreutz burns up, she will still sit in her little occult
In
library.
the ashes.
Yeah.
She'd be like,
What has happened
Yeah.
here?
Oh no.
oh no, I was asleep.
Eliza.
Eliza.
And Peggy.
Yes.
You're sitting in. This is like your morning ritual. Every day, in one of the beautiful sitting rooms, the sun comes up. You're taking your breakfast. Algot has it always prepared. He has been muttering something about like, well, chef would have been doing quite well, but
Well, maybe next time, Algot, we don't have enough resources.
oh, well, you say that. And then, but he had, what would be her breakfast? You think?
I think she's really taken to, she loves to like, in her mind, like experience culture.
Yeah.
So she's really taken to like the stinky herring, even though it's like nobody's really eating that. She doesn't have to. They're eating like porridge and cinnamon buns and stuff.
Yeah.
But she's like, I'll have what the locals are having.
Yeah.
So she has like a coffee with milk and with cream and sugar, very British.
Yeah.
Or maybe a tea, even more
Yeah.
British tea. And she'll have like is it fermented, the herring?
It's not fermented, or it can be. That one it smells for days though.
Super
Like,
stinky.
but
This is in like
pickled,
a cream.
pickled.
Oh, it's pickled.
Yeah.
So she has the pickled herring, and like a hard boiled egg,
Oh, so good.
and
On like a nice,
well
well baked.
soft, maybe like the soft boiled. So when you cut it, the
Oh.
gooey on a toast,
Oh yeah, on like rye bread or some super tasty.
like a spelt breast, whatever it is, with the nuts, and then the fish tube, the
caviar. Yeah.
the caviar tube, the
Yeah.
salmon eggs that you got me.
Oh, yeah.
that I fucking love from Sweden.
Yeah.
She has that as well.
Oh yeah, Kalles caviar for those who are Swedes.
Kalles.
Kalles.
Carl's.
Carl's caviar.
Carl's
He's like
caviar.
this super blonde little guy.
It's
and
actually
you're
the funniest logo on the tube because it literally just says like Carl in big letters, but it sounds way better in Swedish.
Yeah.
Kalles caviar.
Yeah, no, it's really solid, especially on eggs. It's like egg on egg.
It's a little salty. It's like you don't have to season the egg. It's so good.
Smells like homeless.
It smells fishy. It's Xavier does not like it. I love it. I'm actually probably gonna have some when I go home.
Yeah, I have some now right now. I mean, Chris had it when I was pregnant. I puked for days.
Couldn't smell it.
We banned it for that
How
pregnancy.
sad.
Yeah, but now I can have it.
I have a fear when I get pregnant that all my fun cravings, like super salty fishy stuff, pickles, I'm gonna like hate it when I'm pregnant.
100% hate
That
it.
is so sad because
But it'll come back.
I know, but I'm upset. Like I love pickled
Well,
stuff.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway,
So you're taking also, part of your routine is reading the newspaper, Uppsala Nya Tidning, or Uppsala New Paper. We're not very creative in Sweden. In Vaesen, they actually call it Uppsala Gazette.
fun. It's old.
Yeah, very old.
It's not the new paper yet because it's old.
Exactly, Uppsala Old Paper. In this weekend edition, you skim through it, you notice that they're talking about the electricity expansion. And once again, the flashback of that New Year's Eve with your little sister Daphne. It's like a mixed memory. It's like a nice memory the first time you experienced electricity, but it makes you sad to think about Daphne.
Yeah.
And then the newspaper is also talking about the famine in the south of Sweden. A lot of Swedes are currently emigrating to United States, which is true. They did, because there's a lot of there's like a drought down, especially in Småland.
The small land?
Småland, yeah, Småland. It's like a huge municipality in the south of Sweden.
So named poorly because it's really big.
Yeah, it's also Småland. People from Småland are used to being are known for being cheap. Like that's like a weird slur people say about people from Småland. I don't think it's true, but it's for some reason
weird.
I know.
Because they experienced the famine.
I have actually, maybe that's
where it
like
originates?
a lot of people from specifically Småland went to America, and I think it's because they had rough go at it.
Yeah.
But like everyone probably did. Anyway,
Anyhow.
I don't know whether it's true or not, but
Comment down below your racist opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think people from Småland are like?
Yeah. But anyway, so you read about this drought that's making conditions even worse. And then there's also another fight going on because they want to build a power plant in Tenforsen, which is Sweden's largest waterfall.
Oh.
And electricity is like all the rage right now because it's like new. And one very prominent engineer who studied in Uppsala, he's been able to figure out how to transfer electricity, large quantities of electricity from one point to another, which was not possible a couple of years ago. That's why electricity didn't get like mainstream, but now he's figured it out because he's a genius. And he did this, and this guy exists, Johan Wenström. He actually existed in Sweden. He was like contemporary with Tesla and Edison.
Whoa.
And he probably would have independently discovered like the Edison light bulb. But he, yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff about this guy.
Okay.
But anyway, so there's this fight about this water plant. You don't really necessarily care about that fight because it's a little bit further away from Uppsala. It doesn't strike you as odd. More like, oh no, I hope they don't ruin that whole beautiful
Waterfall.
area to build a water plant. And outside of that, it's Uppsala, and the university continues to promote science. Meanwhile, the church continues to promote spirituality and staying away from romance books.
She doesn't like that. She rips that out of the paper.
Yeah, she's like, well, don't judge me. And then one day, 2 men comes to visit. One of them in his late 50s, and then one of them much younger.
Okay.
They are both dressed in beautiful suits that suggest that they are quite rich. Good morning. My name is Elias, and this is my brother, Nicholas. We are the Forsman brothers. Forsman. In Swedish, you know that means riverman.
Oh. Interesting. Forsman brothers.
It's a common name, Forsman.
Forsman.
Yeah.
Elias and Nicholas.
Elias and Nicholas.
Yeah, she greets them in like the drawing room. She
Yeah.
tells Alga to like bring them in there or whatever.
We saw your ad, so we thought you might be able to help us, Elias says. He's the one who sort of seems very approachable and talks
Is he
to
the
you.
younger one?
He's the older one.
He's the older one.
He's handsome, grey hair, quite tall, has a barely noticeable limp,
Okay.
and he's wearing glasses and has a well-groomed beard.
My advertisement for guests to stay in Gyllencreutz, how could I help you?
Right, we are looking for someone with an open mind, if that makes sense. I wasn't quite sure. I've heard rumors from others that you might know things that others, the regular law enforcement might not be able to help me with.
I understand. And she sort of signals to like 2 servants who stand in the corners of the rooms, and
Yeah.
they close the door and they like kind of draw the shears in the room. And another one brings out tea. She
Yeah.
says, please help yourselves.
Of course.
Yes. We keep an open mind here at Gyllencreutz, myself included. My name is Eliza Andrews. I'm the now owner of Gyllencreutz, and I have been, for lack of a better word, recruiting those who explore, open minds. What is it exactly you need help with? I just want to make sure that I could actually help you.
Well, of course. They both sit down. Nicholas, the younger brother, who seems a lot younger, actually.
How
like
old?
30 years younger.
Oh, wow.
So it's a 50-year-old man in a late teens, early 20s. But the boy is gorgeous. Like, absolutely stunning. You have a hard time taking... it's like impossibly gorgeous. Deep green eyes, beautiful locks, perfect jawline. He looks like a painting. So Elias, he seems very open-minded, so he sits down with you and
Does he take the tea?
he takes the tea. Nicholas ignores it. Nicholas strikes you as one of those artsy, knowing full well that he's very handsome. So he actually doesn't even sit down. He just walks around the room looking at things.
He's a teen.
Not very easygoing. He like barely answers you. Sometimes he interjects, but mostly it's just Elias. Well, we wanted to meet with you because we found ourselves in a bit of a situation. You see, Nicholas here, my brother, he's getting married. And the wedding is about to happen in a couple of days. However, the girl's family, they are opposing the wedding recently due to nightmares. But it's quite important that the wedding happen for everyone's sake. Nicholas then interjects. Her name is Eva, and she's mine. Whether we get married or not, we love each other. Regardless, Elias says. Eva's family, there have been quite a few irregularities happening, so they see it as a bad omen. You see, they're quite Christian and superstitious. Nicholas then says, they're fools, idiots, ignorant buffoons. Now, we understand that nightmares that can be common, but however, they claim to have the same nightmare. And they claim that it happened once we arrived to town. And we don't know what it could be, but again, we need to get Nicholas married to this girl. And Elias looks down. Nicholas straightens up. And he's like, the girl is with child. The family does not know. So it's quite important. We do not wish to ruin the girl's reputation. Elias looks at Nicholas of like, you fucking idiot. But he proudly says, she carries my child. What other proof do we need that our union is supposed to happen?
This fucking kid.
Yeah.
But she's nodding along.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a predicament. I do think I could be of some assistance, or perhaps someone here at Gyllencreutz will have to come out to you, talk more, perhaps meet her, if possible, her family.
Absolutely. Would you mind gathering whatever resources you have, and perhaps you could join us back to the village. The village is in Sigtuna. It's a couple of miles south of Sweden. Sorry, south of Uppsala, not south of Sweden. You're not leaving the country.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Sigtuna. Yes, of course. Well, yes, I'll need to gather my resources, and yes, we could.
Right. And Elias looks very relieved. Nicholas also quite relieved. There was like a tension. They were worried that you were gonna cast them out. And you continue to enjoy the tea. Meanwhile, we move down to Birch, who's still staring at that wall, just feeling the evil emitting from it. And that's the end of the episode!
Oh.